What's going on, everyone? So, many of you may be aware. If not, just to let you know, we're getting a new The Mummy franchise, another film in the franchise. It seems like it's going to be its own thing. Did a whole video breaking that down. I've done a couple videos diving into it. But in this video in particular, I want to talk about the potential of a new trilogy. We got the original The Mummy trilogy. First two films, I loved, right? With Emotep and all that. Wasn't really big on the third film. I didn't think it was terrible, but I felt like the kind of felt more of a cash grab. Now look, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, everything's a cash grab. Like, every movie is a cash grab, right? Every movie, whether it's the first one or the 10th one, it's all a cash grab. But there's like blatant cash grabs, and then there's just like, all right, like, you know, at least you tried type thing. I don't know. I wasn't big on the third installment of The Mummy. But we are in this era where, you know, these studios and stuff are trying to pump out and create as many of these movies as possible. We're constantly getting these remakes of old classics and stuff. And so, of course, The Mummy is following suit. Now, hopefully it's not like that Tom Cruise version where that one was just, that was awful. That was like a blatant cash grab, right? Like that felt like they didn't even try. But going under the assumption that The Mummy follows the current trend in like the horror space or just movie space, period. And they do try to establish this first movie as a trilogy, right? That's what they want to do. I mean, you're seeing it with, again, especially in the horror space, right? Like, you know, Scream has had several movies, the Halloween franchise, right? Like, they did it with The Strangers, they're doing it with The Exorcist, right? And problem is, usually they're terrible. First off, I really hope that they have Brendan Fraser in this, right? We have the Renaissance. We need more of that. You know, I'd really love to see him, even if it isn't like, I think that they should do something where it's in the same universe, right? It's you have still, you know, O'Connell and their family and all that, right? Like, and but they're, you know, retired now. They're, you know, they're rich, filthy rich, but they're still historians, and they love and they could kind of be that safe haven, right? They kind of be the bunker. They could be the, you know, the encyclopedia, so to speak, the Yoda for the new wave of, you know, Egyptian diggers and stuff. And you kind of have this thing where you set up and establish this story where how like the first two were connected, right? I think that they should go that route. And I think if you're going to go multi-film purpose, like maybe it's not even a trilogy, maybe it's just this one a sequel. If this movie is halfway successful, there's going to be another one. It's not going to be just this one, right? We don't have any word that they're going to try to make this a trilogy or anything yet. Don't be shocked if something comes out. But I also just think that chances are we're going to end up in a space, in a place where we're going to get another installment or two. Fine. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I don't want to see it be, I don't want each film to kind of be its own thing. I'd rather it be just one overarching story, right? Kind of like how the first two were one. So it was the same mummy. It was the same, like, I would rather them go an approach where, like, I wouldn't even mind if there is like this like cliffhanger version ending, right? Where it's like, you know, there's this new mummy that gets awakened, and they have to take out that mummy, and maybe they're not able to take it out. They just kind of prolong it, right? They just prolong that mummy for now, right? And then, so you know that there's another movie, and they're trying to figure out how to stop him, but they weren't able to stop him. They were just able to kind of lock him away, but, you know, chances are that's not going to hold very long type thing, right? Like, and you kind of have 2 or 3 movies that are all just kind of one thing. Like, you can have some kind of conclusiveness. Like I said, you could have where the first movie, they don't kill the mummy, or they don't get rid of the mummy, they just lock them away, right? I think that would be, personally, a better approach. I would rather have that route to where it isn't just like, here's this mummy. Oh, okay, we you know, that this one did so good, so we're just going to unleash another one. And, you know, and we're going to make some BS reason why this other mummy comes back, right? Like, they were able to tie together the first two, which was nice, which made sense. Right? And then, then they did, like, Scorpion King and all this other stuff, right? kind of got a little carried away there. But, like, they were able to tie it together. I don't know if I trust this modern age of writers and studios and stuff to properly tie it together and make it make sense. I'd rather it just be one continuous, like almost like a series or something, right? Rather than like, okay, here's the first one. Okay, now we're doing the second one, and now we need to write and make it make sense, or you have to have an entirely different mummy. It's like, how many of these things can keep coming? Like, I'd rather it just, and I also hope it's not just like a blatant ripoff. Like, this is supposed to be kind of like a reimagining, kind of its own new thing. I hope it's not like a carbon copy version of the classic, which is a problem in today's, again, writing and stuff, which is part of the reason why I don't really trust today's writing, right? Because I have concerns, and I think we can all kind of see this just kind of being a play-by-play of the first two Mummy films. And I would prefer if that's the route that they don't go. But nonetheless, right? Like, if they're going to do this remake of the classic The Mummy, I think that they need to, assuming that they're going to do multiple films, which again is just the trend in Hollywood, but going under the assumption that they can do multiple films, I really do want to see something where everything ties in, right? Like I said, you can have some conclusiveness, you can have some kind of, but like, have the mummy, right, that you unlock, and then it's this, this epic battle, which I do really like the idea of, like, a modern version. Because, the first one came out, 1999? Right? Just imagine how different. We're in another universe as far as special effects and stuff, and even practical effects go, and all that. Like, you can see the potential for just a really dark, gritty, almost horror version of The Mummy. Like, I still want it to kind of be that Indiana Jones style, the action adventure film. But I also, look, even the first two Mummies had some real horror elements, right? Like, where, Imhotep's like literally draining the life force of people, right? Like, so I do want them to kind of keep those elements, kind of make it a little dark, a little gritty. Also, you can get away with a lot more now than you could back then. So that's something else too that I think really has potential and adds some value to any type of story that they could end up telling. But nonetheless, right? Like, I really want whatever they decide to do to one, keep it simple, right? The original Mummy was a very simple and simplistic story. It's when they try to do all the other spin-offs and stuff, make the Scorpion King and all these other things, try to like tie in and make sense, and just got kind of carried away. Even the third installment I felt was a little like all over the place. And then these just Yetis come out of nowhere, and it's like no one knew about these Yetis. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just, I felt like it was like the third one was very random at times, where I felt like the first two were very simplistic, right? Part two kind of tried to go more into like the lore and the depth and stuff, which I thought they did a good job of, but like, I felt like it still inherently was very simplistic. And I'd like to see this new version to kind of keep it simple, right? Like, you have this couple or group of people or whatever mess with things that they're not supposed to mess with. Mummy comes to life. They got to try to stop the mummy. Like, simple, straightforward, easy, simple story, right? Sprinkle in some darkness, sprinkle in some gritty, sprinkle in some horror, and you have yourself a good quality film. But I want the story to be able to make sense if they do others, right? I worry that they're going to do this and then they're going to make another one because this one has success, and then they're going to end up being like, oh, well, how do we make this fit? And then they're going to try to tell some convoluted story that doesn't make sense on how this mummy returned, or they're just going to go another mummy entirely. Like, I don't want that. I want them to kind of, keep it straightforward, keep it simple, and just tell a good story, right? If we get this new Mummy trilogy, let's get this new Mummy trilogy. And, bring it home. Bring it home. Keep it simple. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you like the idea of them kind of keeping it simple and having this trilogy kind of be this one overarching story? Do you not? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.